This must be the place where we begin the game. Alright, let's get started.
Whoa, they really have thought of everything. Even the Phaetometer is here and ready to go for us.
Phaetometer? But wait, didn't Lyney design the thing and Furina build it? How do you guys know about it all?
The Phaetometer. What's that?
It's a card that's used to determine action success or failure. We'll need to use it when we try to use certain skills.
Yeah, Lyney's design.
And what about all the dessert and tea? Is that for us as well?
That's what the message said.
Oh, really? That's so nice. It feels just like a tea party with friends.
Yeah, it is, Navia. It is. Yeah, it really is like a tea party with friends, Navia.
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them.
Obviously.
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marachaussee Hunter, Paimon.
Snack hunter Paimon reported for duty. If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will track down every last one.
The desserts are great. But I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Very fair. Then, let us begin.
Alright.
First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you, and write down your name and profession. You can find an abbreviated version of the rules printed on the back of your character card. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. In this story, everyone is a Marachaussee Hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Ooh, nice.
Looks pretty cool.
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all of this? Paimon's not sure she can do all that on her own. Maybe Paimon can just stick with you?
Yeah, always leave the fighting to me. Sometimes I wish that you can fight Paimon.
Why don't you share a character card then? The Traveler will be the Marachaussee Hunter, and you can be his little floating assistant.
Assistant?
Huh, kinda like in real life.
Yeah.
So, for the name, do I fill it out with the name of my character?
Yep. It can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of a new name.
Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life, but still as yourself. That's not a bad idea.
That's what I do all the time on here.
In that case, I think I'll continue to use the name Lyney then.
Alright.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
Skill points. I know that game mechanic.
I'll take Persuasion and Investigation. Those are must-haves when it comes to missions like these.
And you are one of the best investigators in Fontaine, Navia.
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence. Good idea, Navia. Just as expected of a veteran player.
So, should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take Stealth and Sleight of Hand. That will give us more options if we run into any situations we can't negotiate our way out of.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I suppose it's not so different from an acting troupe. Everyone has their own role to play. Let me see. I'll take arts and performance. I'm not quite sure what use they'll be, but I'm not as knowledgeable about the other skills. And I am not too confident I'd be able to roleplay them well.
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler?
Learn insight.
Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful.
Also medicine.
Ooh, so you want to help people when they're injured. That's nice of you. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these two skills?
Let me think.
Sure, what do you want to learn?
Cooking.
Gotta say, this suits you really well. Nothing boosts morale like good food.
Alright, I'll go with the medicine thing too.
Ooh, so you want to help people. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these 2 skills?
No.
Sure, what do you want to learn?
Let's go. Let's screw it. Insights.
Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful.
But cooking and medicine, screw it. Insight and cooking.
So what do you think? Are you sure you...
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and cool?
Yeah, and Chlorinde, don't think that crap.
Oh, I saw that one just now as well. The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances to summon characters or creatures that fit the script's world-building rules.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marachaussee Hunter can summon?
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
What is GM short for again? Hey, Chlorinde, don't be like that.
All right, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of thing shows up.
Well, now that everyone's more or less finished creating their characters, we can begin. Since 2 of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask, would you like to play on easy mode or authentic mode?
What's the difference between the 2?
Thank you for asking that, Furina.
Well, in role-playing games, the story sometimes changes based on the decisions of the players and the results of the Fatometer. For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the Fatometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow.
Crap.
If you choose easy mode instead, every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
The random checks triggered by the Fatometer often serve as indicators. I already remember. Press to draw a card and get a random number between 1 to 20. If the number displayed is greater than or equal to, you will pass. Otherwise, fail. I remember from when that's Hangout. I don't need another reminder. Oh yeah, check bonuses on this site can help us draw even bigger numbers. In easy mode, all checks are considered successful by default. Well,
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh? Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic mode for sure. Never knowing what you might have to overcome. Ugh, doesn't that sound exciting?
I'd rather be mentally prepared for what might happen.
All right, then I'll mark down Furina for easy mode. All her checks will be successful by default. As usual, Navia and Lyney will play on authentic mode.
What about you, dear partner? How would you like to play?
Screw it. Let's go with authentic.
Are you sure? Take your time. There's no rush. Are you sure?
Dang. It's so hard to choose now. What the hey? Easy mode, we can follow the story, but, no.
Take your time. There's no rush.
I'm okay with whatever choices we make, and no matter what happens, here's hoping luck will be on my side. Authentic!
Are you sure?
Trust me, you'll see the beauty of RNG.
RNG. Come on. Sometimes I don't get abbreviations.
Honestly, I don't think Chlorinde would make things too difficult for us, no matter what the Phaetometer says. Isn't that right, Chlorinde?
No promises.
Of course.
That wasn't super reassuring.
Next!
Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. I want to experience at least a good chunk of the story today.
You're not the only one. Let's get started on this biz.
Speaking of the story, why is the beginning scene on a beach?
Yeah.
Well, that's because, a long time ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence.
I knew the game would begin. I knew it.
Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marachaussee Hunters.
Only 2 of us has swords. Well, 3 of us if we're counting Chlorinde here, since this is our story quest. Navia has an axe, claymore, and Lyney has his bow. Let's play. This is gonna be so much fun. Mondstadt?
Sometime later, as a member of the Marachaussee Hunters, you receive a commission. Following the address provided on the message, you take a boat and arrive at this strange city.
We're in Mondstadt!
As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. There aren't many people in the vicinity, but you do take note of a few others who, like you, seem to be sizing up this place. Your eyes meet, and you realize these people are fellow Marachaussee Hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same commission as you.
You're all Marachaussee Hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on the side. What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in.
Right, Lyney.
My name is Lyney. I've been wandering since I was little and picked up a few less than legal tricks along the way. I was adopted by a Marachaussee hunter and later chose to follow in his footsteps.
Sweet.
Is this where you introduce your character to everyone? It sounds like they've done this dozens of times. My name is Furina, and, I grew up in a noble family. I always had a strong interest in performance and the arts. Even though I'm a Marachaussee hunter, what I really want is to be a performing artiste.
Hey, that's really cool. You can do it, Furina. That's exactly how it's done.
Paimon is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this Marachaussee Hunter right here.
I've been studying the
I've been
culinary
studying the culinary arts since I was a
child.
child.
I hope my
hope
delicious
food can help boost people's spirits. Okay, now I sort of wish I became the medic. But still.
That's wonderful. I'll be looking forward to your cooking during our adventures together.
Well, if we're all here for the same commission, why don't we take some time to confirm what we need to do?
You open your envelopes at the same time. The message reads,
What?
To the honorable and trustworthy Marachaussee Hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home.
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar. It kind of reminds Paimon of Mondstadt.
I keep saying that! We're in Mondstadt!
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up with the map.
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of days gone by. Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell. Its hollow gates are open to you, beckoning you to come forth and bring salvation back to the town.
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together. They sensed that things were not right within the kingdom and sent a distress signal to the outside world.
This really is so much fun. I would really love to play something like this in the real world. Which is where I am right now.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city and see if we can learn anything from the local residents?
Oh, good idea. We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys we're after.
You look up and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Angel Share! Alright, let's go in and see D-Luke! Or Charles.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
Worth a shot. Wait a minute, trial runs of Furina, Lyney, and Navia? Now come on, shouldn't Lyney be on my right? I always put my archers on the right.
As you approach the tavern, you find a plainly dressed woman standing nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right. The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
Chlorinde. She's really voicing this character?
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get some good leads.
I miss Furina's Numa look still, but her OC look gives her a bit of a tomboy vibe to me.
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Huh?
I don't think that's the kind of question we're supposed to ask.
Next, please, next.
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons? I could make you some.
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiencies.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't really look like a chef. Besides, I'm not really a fan of sweets.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. You're really starting to remind me of this one friend of mine.
She got you, Chlorinde. Navia got you good.
Hey, did she just... me?
Okay, now we're kind of breaking the role-playing here. And now I really love me some role-play.
Chlorinde must have broke character for a second.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe you can think of something.
Good thinking, Paimon. I like to do an insight to check and see what's troubling her.
The results of insight checks aren't disclosed to the players, so I'll be the one consulting the phaetometer.
Crap. And...
You recall all the lessons you've learned in your time, and begin to carefully observe the woman's mannerisms. You notice that when she's quiet, she has an empty look in her eyes. as if her thoughts have drifted to a place far, far away. And when she speaks, she often subconsciously reaches out to touch the ring on her left hand.
Did something happen to your husband, ma'am?
So you noticed. That's a little embarrassing. A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were dispatched to fight them.
Do you remember when those monsters appeared?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched to fight them 3 days ago.
Oh, man. Hey, how come Furina doesn't look sad?
Do you know where he was sent?
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't even tell me where they were sending him.
You have our thanks, friend. We'll find and defeat those monsters as soon as possible. We sincerely hope your husband will be able to return to your side soon.
And look at that, Lyney has the flask of the Marachaussee Hunter artifact set
Thank you.
on his tabletop character.
Don't worry. We'll find him. Just try to remain optimistic and wait for good news. We don't always get to choose what happens to us. But we do get to choose the little things, like what we eat and how we respond to the things life throws our way. I hope that one day, you too will recognize the power of something as small and inconsequential as a delicious dessert.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman, and continue your journey further into the city.
Later.
As you venture further into the city, the streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby merchant folds his arms and gives you a disdainful look. You get the impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the sight before him.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly, merchants are usually a good source of information, right?
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I may.
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
Think it'd be better if the merchant was voiced by someone else, like either me or Lyney. Come on.
How about this much?
Lyney,
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You can't even buy half an onion with that amount.
Surely an onion can't be that expensive, right?
What do you know? War is nearly upon us. Everything costs several times what it did before. If you're not gonna buy anything, then scram.
Whoa, what a nasty guy. Maybe we shouldn't even bother talking to him.
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something?
Persuade him, Navia. It's up to you.
Sir, we came to this city to solve the very problem you seem to be referring to. The war you mentioned, would it happen to be against the monsters outside the city? If you happen to be well informed and know a thing or two about what's going on, we'd appreciate it if you could share that information with us. After all, the sooner this problem gets resolved, the easier it will be for you to do your business.
16! Yes! Thank you! Victory is mine!
Well, things are basically as you said, young lady. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our trade routes. We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big trouble.
Wait, you're saying no one has put a plan in place to distribute supplies or maintain order?
We could all starve, and those nobles in the palace wouldn't even break a sweat. Who knows? Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
That is concerning.
All right. That's all the information you need, right? Off with you now. I've still got business to do.
You know, if you smiled a little more, you'd definitely get more business. And I bet that would make your life just a little bit sweeter. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work. It's just a tip.
Okay, where to next?
Should we try to go somewhere with more people?
Oh, how about the city square? Follow me.
What's that light on Lyney? It's from his constellation. What? Crisp focus. That must be it. No way. That explains why Lyney's cat is glowing on his outfit. I will admit, that is impressive. Hey, where's the fountain? They make it look like monster, but they're leaving out some crap.
Before you lies the city's central square. You see a man with a slightly anxious look on his face, pacing back and forth, his head hanging low.
Excuse
He doesn't
us.
seem to notice your approach. Still immersed in his own thoughts, he shakes his head and lets out a long sigh.
This guy seems promising enough. Maybe I can get some information out of him. Hello, sir. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Oh, wait, you're...
I'm...
Oh, dear goodness! You're a Marachaussee Hunter!
You recognize us? Ah, are you one of the people who wrote the commission letter?
Yes, yes! Oh, I didn't expect you to actually come. Oh, what great news! The city is saved!
What happened here?
Alas, we once lived comfortable, carefree lives. This city used to be free of monsters. The first Marachaussee Hunter, Casiodor, the Golden Hunter, he was the one who drove them back. However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that kept them at bay has lost its power. Or perhaps an evil sorcerer has been meddling in our affairs. All I know for sure is that their return has stripped the city of any chance at peace.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
It's not a question of numbers. The guards simply have no idea how to deal with them. Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight against them. What's worse, many of us don't even know the history of the Marachaussee Hunters anymore. When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories about how the Marachaussee Hunters drove back the monsters. So, on the off chance that something might come of it, I decided to reach out to you. To be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales. But now that I've seen you in person, I finally know that it was true!
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marachaussee Hunters are on the case.
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know where to find them. Can you give us any leads?
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. I'm afraid I can't point you toward a specific location. Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find the monsters.
I see. We'll go look for them then.
All right, be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil sorcerers inside the city as well, so be on your guard. They're actively working with the monsters, and have corrupted the court ministers with malicious magic. They're the reason why, even inside the city, everything has been a giant mess. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in nothing but enacting laws that exploit the people. Who knows how much longer we'll be able to go on like this.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
You can say that again. Oi.
I feel bad for him. Maybe we should try to cheer him up?
Leave it to me.
Hey, not everything can be solved with food.
Fine.
I appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to focus on the crisis at hand. Brave hunters, I leave the future of this kingdom to you.
Maybe I should have gone with Furina. Can you sing him a song?
If I
Sorry.
understood correctly, there are currently 2 problems in the kingdom that need solving, right?
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil sorcerer stirring up trouble from within.
But which problem should we tackle first?
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take some time and discuss what you want to do. Let me know when you've made your decision.
Okay, and sorry for leaving you out, Furina. I should have... What is wrong with me?
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's length like that. I totally thought the hunters would be treated like heroes.
Well, Chlorinde said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right? Maybe the real-life Marachaussee Hunters were also treated like that.
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are definitely some similarities. Would you like to hear more about it?
Sure.
Sure. As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You brought up bits and pieces of the Hunter's history before, but it was all in passing.
Yeah.
Paimon wants to know too. The Hunters were super powerful, right? Were they all from a special line of supernatural beings or something? Kind of like the yokai in Inazuma?
No. All Marachaussee Hunters were ordinary mortal fighters. The only thing that set them apart were the special sword techniques passed down over the centuries.
Special sword techniques that they've each and all learned and incorporated.
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marachaussee Hunter?
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship techniques required to fight the monsters.
Hey, swordsmanship techniques, hand them over. But the training, I'll give it a shot.
Still, most people dropped out at the early stages, and others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person.
Oy.
To become a hunter, you must be strong in both body and mind.
Something that Aloy has. Bringing back Horizon. Seriously, they should really make a debut story quest for Aloy on here. Oh.
What kind of monsters did the Hunters fight exactly? Oh, and the Evil Sorcerer the script mentions. Did they exist in real life too?
The land of Fontaine once played host to an ancient dynasty known as Remuria.
No,
After that dynasty fell, monsters began to appear, intent on obstructing humans from establishing a new social order.
we already know about Rumeria. I mean, seriously.
One of the ancient sorcerers of Remuria used his power to assemble a formidable army of golems. He sought to use that force to establish himself as king.
Yeah, I remember fighting those statues.
Now, wait a second. Don't tell me that guy was the inspiration for the evil sorcerer in the script. We still haven't found any in-game information on him yet. So, why don't you talk about someone else for now?
Well, I wasn't planning on going into anything you might be able to find out in the game. But if you want me to talk about something else, then... How about Casiodor, the Golden Hunter? Or Egeria, the ex-Hydro Archon?
Wait, but those people are all from a super long time ago. Where did you learn all this, Chlorinde?
From my master.
Huh. By master, you mean Miss Petronia?
Someone you know?
Absolutely. Miss Petronia and my father were good friends. Back in the day, she would often bring Chlorinde over to play, but then...
Let's not get off topic. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Come on, Navia, tell us more!
Responding to Egeria's call, a number of warriors followed Casiodor into battle against the monsters. This group of warriors, under Casiodor's leadership, became known as the Marachaussee Hunters.
Right, we already know that.
Yet, as Fontaine entered an era of peace, their work gradually became obsolete. The Marachaussee Phantom, originally an association made up of hunters, eventually came to be predominantly comprised of Melusines.
So that's how the Melusines got into Fontaine, okay. Plus, I think I remember seeing various spirits of Rumeria when I first adventured in there, especially Cassiodor.
Ah, I see. That explains why most of the people in the script have forgotten the Hunters or think of them as nothing more than a legend.
Is that really a bad thing, though? It can get tough always being the one shouldering everyone's expectations.
True.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose. If the name of the organization no longer commands respect, investigative work is bound to suffer.
Speaking of investigations, which problem should we tackle first? Monsters or Evil Sorcerer?
I vote monsters. That's the main duty of the hunters, right? We can come back to the sorcerer later.
Well said, Miss Furina. Plus, if the sorcerers really are the masterminds behind this whole thing, defeating the monsters could give us some clues on their intentions as well.
What about you, partner? What do you think?
I also vote with the monsters. Let's battle them.
It's decided then.
All right. After some discussion, you decide to turn around and head out of the city.
Back to the game. The woods of Mondstadt.
Like that guy said.
You there! Outsiders, halt!
Oh, come on.
Who's there?
An armored man approaches you. He has a tall, muscular build and a determined expression in his eyes. Just one look, and you can tell he's fought in his fair share of battles. Although he's trying his best to conceal his current state, his uneven gait and the sweat dripping down his forehead make it obvious that he's been wounded and is in serious pain. I'm the captain of the guard. I saw you sneaking around the city earlier, so I'll only ask this once.
Now I wish I was a medic.
State your purpose, or it's off to the dungeons for the lot of you.
Ah, crap.
Wow, it's been a while since someone's been this suspicious of us.
I said talk, not whisper between yourselves.
Hey, shut it.
Have you ever heard of the Marachaussee Hunters?
Marachaussee. Come on, Furina.
Marachaussee Hunters? Ha! That fairy tale, you mean? What, you expect me to believe you're one of them?
Obviously. I like to do an insight check to tell what he's thinking. No, wait, actually, Navia. You got this, partner.
Sir, we were indeed in the city earlier, but our purpose was only to gather information on the monsters. We're here to help the city and all the people within it. Your guards are still fighting the monsters as we speak. They could be seriously wounded and in grave need of support. You need all the help you can get.
And a 10. Sweet.
The man regards you with doubt and concern. After a period of inner struggle, he lets out a long sigh and informs you of the locations where the monsters have appeared. Those monsters aren't easy to deal with, but if you insist on going, I won't stop you either. I just hope all the guards will be able to come back to their families alive. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Why didn't I choose to be a medic? Why?
Based on what the captain said, the monster should be right up ahead. Let's go. Hopefully we're not too late.
I'm aware.
As you approach the battlefield, you see numerous people lying by the side of the road. They appear to be dressed like guards. Their faces are filled with desperation and terror. Some are screaming and cursing in vain, as if still trying to banish the monstrosities they saw from their minds.
Man, that glow on Lyney, it's just still getting me.
A few of the wounded look up at you in shock and disbelief. Quick, Leave this place. Turn around and don't look back, they yell.
Keep seeing Door of Resurrection, but not seeing it. Their swords. It's always the dull blade. Enough of that blade. I hate it. Hook, fire and claws. What the?
This is the place he mentioned, right?
It has
You
to be.
see broken iron swords scattered all around you, and downed trees riddled with terrifying claw marks.
Ah, crap.
All the signs point to one thing. A truly devastating battle just took place here.
Be on your guard, everyone. The monsters might still be around.
Right.
Before you can finish your sentence, you hear rustling sounds from the surrounding bushes. The monsters have emerged.
Rift Hounds!
They close in on you without fear. You get the impression that, in their bloodthirsty eyes, you're just another meal for them to devour.
Furina, don't be afraid. Pull out that sword and get ready to battle.
A little help here! This thing wants to eat Paimon!
Your battle round begins. Now.
Let's take these Rift Hounds down as a team. Team. Fingers crossed and hope for the best. No! Go with the wind!
Coming at ya! Hiya! Aha! Nah, watch out!
And voila! Ta!
The next battle round begins now.
Now come on!
Fire! Well, with rocks. Cha! This one's got your name on it!
The monsters let out a terrifying roar of anger and resentment before dissipating into thin air.
Good riddance.
Ugh, thank goodness it's over.
Mm-hmm.
We're lucky the Marachaussee Hunter class came with all those preset skill points. Otherwise, we would have been in some real trouble.
Eh.
I never knew the Phytometer even determines the amount of damage you inflict. If you get unlucky, isn't it just game over right then and there?
That's part of the fun. The uncertainty of fate is what gives these games their appeal.
Just as you begin to celebrate your victory, a suspicious lump on the ground catches your attention.
It caught me first.
Suspicious lump. Wait, could it be the thing that appears after every battle?
I walk up to it, crouch down, and begin to carefully examine it. I've still got my right glove on, so it should be fine for me to touch it, right?
As you investigate the mound, you discover that the exposed portion appears to be made of wood. It was previously obscured by the large form of the monsters. With the monsters gone, the small protrusion now awaits your discovery, poking out of the ground like a shy flower bud.
Whoa, it's a treasure chest!
Let's dig it up, people!
With everyone's help, you successfully excavate the wooden chest from the ground, even without opening it. You can tell from the mora and jewels scattered around the chest that it must contain quite the fortune.
Makes sense. We worked hard for this. Let's open it and we can share what's inside.
We are treasure hunting experts, right, Paimon?
I can understand your excitement, Paimon, but think about it. Doesn't it seem like there are people out there who need this treasure more than us?
Yeah, Think about all the people suffering in the capital. Or all those guards who got hurt fighting the monsters. Wouldn't it be better if we gave the treasure to them?
Wait, is that how it works? Paimon thought since we were the ones to dig it up, we could just take it for ourselves.
That's what we've been doing throughout the whole thing.
Well, let's put it this way. Any decision you make during a role-playing game can impact the future course of the story.
Yeah, yeah, like decision games, like Life is Strange, for example. Every choice has its consequences and all that.
But would the people really believe us? It's hard enough for us to prove we're Marachaussee Hunters. What if they think we procured the treasure illegally? They might get even more suspicious of us.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we should consider. Maybe we can come up with an explanation in advance.
Yeah.
Well, if donating it could cause that much trouble, why don't we use it to buy some gear and fill up on good food? Then we'll be ready to fight even more bad guys.
Looks like you're facing a difficult choice once again.
Crap.
Well, it's getting late. Why don't we call it a day for now?
All right.
Wow! Where did the time go?
I mean, look, the sun's setting and we had a lot of fun.
I'm not sure if it's because I'm having so much fun with you all or because the story is particularly enticing, but I feel like I could almost keep going.
Me too, Lyney. Me too.
Here, here. Ooh, how about we play through the night?
Oh, yes!
I'm not sure I'll have enough energy for that.
Yeah, that won't work for me either. Lynette will give me an earful if I get home too late.
Screw Lynette sometimes. Ever since all the Kino Story quests I get, now I get a little pissed off at Lynette.
I understand how you feel, Navia, but we have to change venues for the next part of the story anyway.
Right. Crap.
Huh? Another location?
Mm-hmm. There's a special note for the GM at the end of this section that says to proceed to an indoor set for the next part of the script.
Indoor set. Woo!
Whoa, they really pulled out all the stops for this new script.
Yeah.
Well, even if we end the game for the day, we can still stay a little longer and hear Chlorinde finish her story, right? Paimon wants to hear more about the history of the Hunters.
Yeah, same here.
Something tells me you just want to finish the free desserts before we break for the day.
That's just a coincidence, okay? Besides, to Paimon, not finishing free food feels even worse than having to buy her own.
Look at that, a crock pot full of stew. I want to learn the recipe for that, please.
And anyway, Paimon really does want to hear more about Clorinde's master.
Again, same here.
Well,
If the story doesn't have a happy ending, it's okay not to finish it.
It's nothing. I appreciate the concern, but it's all in the past. It won't do any harm to share these things now.
Yes! Share, 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 share.
My earliest memories are of living with Master. According to her, she saved me from certain people of ill repute. My birth parents had left me behind some time before that.
What? Your birth parents bailed on you? Man, they sound like a bunch of crap holes.
What a heavy beginning for a life story.
Yeah.
Master was a fascinating individual, if inexperienced in the ways of raising children.
Oh, boy.
My first ever toy was a short sword. Although I suppose it wasn't so much a toy as something Master removed from her waist and handed to a noisy child in need of distraction.
Crap. Why would she let you play with a sword? You could have gouged someone's eye out or something.
Oh wait, so she handed an actual sword to a child? Isn't that dangerous? Did you hurt yourself?
Of course I did. I cut my palm and bled quite a lot. But Master was not concerned. She just stood there and casually lectured me about it.
Oh, God.
See? That's what you get for not holding the sword properly, she told me. She then crouched down next to me and said, "Give me your hand. I'll teach you to bandage this wound. After that, it's time to learn how to truly hold a blade."
God.
Excuse me for asking this, Chlorinde, but how old were you exactly when all this happened?
Probably around, 3, give or take.
What?
3? Isn't that when most kids are still struggling to hold a fork?
As I said, Master was rather inexperienced in the ways of raising children. She believed trial and error was the best way to teach a child what they're capable of.
And yet you went through a lot of trial and error with your master. It feels like you've gone through hell or whatever.
I'm not so sure this is a question of experience.
No kidding.
I didn't see anything wrong with her ways at the time. And anyway, children don't get to choose how they're raised. Oh, she did bring me back a pet from Liyue once. It was a Geovishap hatchling.
Geovishap hatchlings cannot be
A
pets!
Geovishap hatchling? For a pet? That seems even more dangerous.
No kidding!
What she said was this: make sure to get along, you two. If you really can't agree on something, just settle it with a fight. Whoever loses is the real pet.
Oh my god.
And how old were you when this happened?
5.
What?
Well, did you win?
No, I lost.
Oh my freaking god!
So you're saying you actually became the Geovishap's pet?
Yes, but only for a week. By the end of that week, I defeated it in combat, and we've shared a cordial relationship ever since.
What?
That really doesn't sound like the kind of childhood someone should have.
Yeah! I'm with you, Furina. Chlorinde shouldn't have had that childhood in general. What the F, man? Make me want to say the actual F word.
Later on, I gradually understood that Master most likely didn't know any other way to raise a child. She was a Marachaussee Hunter, but I never heard her bring up her own parents.
Really? Mm. You don't say.
Thanks to her, I learned how to navigate the forest by the age of 6, and could hunt monsters in the wild by myself the year after that.
Oh boy.
Even though the training she subjected me to was strict, she always made sure to take me traveling when she had the time. We met many of her friends during those days. That was also how I met Mr. Callis and his family.
Including Navia.
I still remember the first time we met. You were too scared to join our picnic and hid behind Ms. Petronia the whole time.
I still hadn't really met many children my age at that time, so I didn't know how to interact with others.
Again, your master sounds like a really bad parent.
After that, though, you started coming over a lot. You loved challenging people to shooting competitions, remember? I don't think many members of the Spina ever beat you in one of those.
I'm sure you beat her, Navia. You must have.
I had a lot of fun during those days.
I enjoyed them too. Oh, do you remember that one time we went exploring around the Spina together? We overheard Papa call your master Fontaine's Protector of Justice. We tried to pretend like we never heard anything, but you nearly let it slip that one time.
Protector of Justice? Oh, wait, you mean that vigilante hero from 20 years ago? The one who is always active at night?
Yep, that would be her. She often would put on a black cloak and go out at night. I never knew where she went or what she was doing. Until, like Navia said, we overheard the truth from Mr. Callis that night.
20 years ago, huh? I still remember the guards leaving all kinds of witness reports about her on Nervalette's desk.
My apologies.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. You had nothing to do with it. And anyway, everything she did was for a good cause. Although, calling herself the Protector of Order was a bit much. Especially when she deliberately operated outside the law.
Yeah. Some vigilantes do that, and some like to stay inside the law and do some good.
Huh? When did the Protector of Justice become the Protector of Order?
Eh?
Oh, she had a bunch of code names. I heard she would just come up with a name on the spot whenever she was asked. Later on, she probably got sick of answering those questions and decided to stick to just two. The Protector of Justice and the Protector of Order.
That sounds like her, all right. I bet she forgot which of the two she'd use by the time she got back each night.
Justice and Order, two of the books, you and Fontaine, and yet no unity, huh?
Well, she certainly sounds like a fascinating individual. With her strong sense of justice, it's no surprise her student followed in her footsteps.
It's true. I always wanted to become like her. Someone powerful, independent, and with a strong sense of conviction. But...
Oh, come on.
she suddenly disappeared the night I turned 10 years old.
What? She left on you when you hit your first double dig.
Disappeared? What happened?
I have no idea. She didn't even leave a note. I was never able to find out where she went. That night, I was celebrating my birthday at Navia's house. But Master never came to pick me up. When I returned home on my own, it was to an empty house. When she still didn't appear after a few days, I went to Mr. Callus's house to ask about her whereabouts. But he only shook his head.
Papa probably didn't know either. I know he sent a few people to investigate the matter in secret, but they never found any credible leads.
Don't worry, I understand. To be perfectly honest, given Master's personality and way of doing things, it all made a lot of sense. If I had to guess, I'd say she probably used it as an opportunity to force me to become independent. Just like how, when a litter of kittens reaches a certain age, the mother willingly leaves them behind.
Were you upset, Chlorinde?
I was at first, but not anymore. I don't believe Master would suddenly disappear for no reason. There must have been something she just had to do.
Well, despite everything, you still managed to follow in her footsteps and become the greatest champion duelist in all of Fontaine. You're practically a living symbol of law and justice.
Ain't that the truth?
I suspect my position would be far too by the books for her. Master always did whatever she pleased. But you're right. I suppose I do take after her in some ways.
Who knew Chlorinde had such an interesting past? I never had the chance to ask her about it before. I wonder... if Chlorine's master were the champion duelist back then, would that duel against Mr. Callus have gone differently? Oh no. Judging by the atmosphere, Chlorinde and Navia are probably thinking something similar. The mood just got super awkward all of a sudden.
Well, anyway... would you look at the time? It's getting dark, so we should probably call it a day for real this time. If we keep talking like this, we really will be here all night.
Yeah.
I had a great time today, Miss Chlorinde. Thank you for being our GM.
Game Master. That's what the GM is short for.
Anytime.
The script was good, but I've got to say, your childhood stories were even better. Hey, you should tell us more about that fight against the Geo-Bishop sometime. Maybe your master was onto something.
Oh, boy.
You could be right.
What does she mean, onto something? I certainly don't know any 5-year-olds who want to fight a bishop in their spare time. Guess I'll head back as well. I need to save my energy if I want to continue enjoying the story tomorrow.
You're that excited to hear about my fight with the bishop?
I was talking about the script.
Obviously, read the room, people. Okay, that should be it. Let's,
Just between the two of us, could you tell me what it was like to be the Geo-Bishop's pet?
It was nothing special, really. Geo-Bishops don't understand the concept of a pet. So, basically, it just headbutted me whenever I entered its territory.
Oh, come on!
And that hurt?
Yeah, it hurt. What, something you want to experience for yourself?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, someone get me out of this crap fest right now!